from Washington State University. Brought to you by the broadcast students of the Murrow College. This is News Central.
Good evening. I'm Jordan Kawachi.
And I'm Kelsey Meyer. Thanks for joining us tonight. First this evening, the ramifications of this summer's devastating fire season continue. Experts have gathered in Wenatchee to examine what went wrong and how to better prepare for next summer. Trevor Williams spent time with some of the crews who were on the front line.
One person described the speed of the fire as mind-blowing.
This is happening about 4 miles west of Wenatchee.
It didn't look like anything out of the ordinary. I know it was hot, but the wind wasn't really going yet and didn't have any concerns.
In just hours, that sentiment changed. Wind shifted, and the fire was anything but ordinary.
Never driven into a cul-de-sac and seen more than one house burning and knowing that you couldn't save it. You just had to hold the line.
Now, months later in Wenatchee's Broadview neighborhood, the remnants are dozens of empty housing lots.
These big empty lots. These were beautiful homes. There weren't any open lots over here. There was a ladder truck and a couple other apparatus up in these areas, but without those guys, those would have been gone. This whole area would have been scrubbed just like this if we wouldn't have had any resources.
And today, the community took initiative through a Wildfires and Us Summit to learn about preventing loss.
For me, I just want people to recognize that you can walk out your front door, you can turn left, and you can start looking from the foundation to the roof. And that's the first step. That's all you have to do. Walk around your house and take a look.
And firefighters agree that look could be all it takes to protect a community.
What's really amazing is how many of these roofs are shake shingle too. Because in this area, that's a big no-no. But back when they built a lot of these developments, that was part of the covenants was to have shake shingle roofs. We deal with that on our urban interface throughout this area. We've had senators and whatnot come into town. Lots of people come into town, but this wasn't just isolated here. I mean, we were one of the first in the area, but so many people lost things this fire season.
And as things begin to clear in this beautiful Broadview neighborhood, we're reminded of what could happen, what has happened in the past, and what summits like Wildfires and Us are hoping to prevent from happening. Live from Wenatchee, for Murrow Productions, I'm Trevor Williams.
Marijuana has been legalized in the state of Washington. However, an unforeseen result is that law enforcement is having a much tougher time monitoring and controlling the use of hard drugs like cocaine and heroin. Our reporter, Austin Morford, has this investigative piece.
Well, it all started back towards my freshman year. I helped my buddy sell a little bit of marijuana, ended up making quite a lot of money off of it.
Illegal drugs are a nationwide problem and generate over $190 billion a year. With marijuana becoming legal in Washington, police have found it difficult to track illegal drugs such as heroin, meth, and coke.
It's not a rampant problem, right? We have a small core group of hardcore heroin and meth users that tends to bring out vehicle prowls and burglaries and things like that.
Pullman police are trying to crack down on dealers. When people are using these illegal drugs, it drives different types of crime. But the dealers don't see it that way. They're in it for the money, and they make a lot of it.
Yeah, I think the biggest reason people get into it is the money, and that's why I see it in it. The money comes in, and it's done nothing but grow for me since I first initially helped my buddy start selling weed. It drives me every day. I want the money.
Drug dealers don't care who they are selling to. The demographic in Pullman is quite a diverse age range, and age doesn't seem to matter when it comes to drugs.
It goes from just out of high school to high school kids up to elderly. Up on the hill, I know there's a lot of coke use, and we've arrested kids that have coke on them. Majority of patrol deals with heroin and meth problems.
Now that marijuana is legal, dealers have had to switch to selling other drugs, and this makes them skeptical.
I mean, you're only one bad deal away from going behind bars for some of the things you sell.
Drugs will always be an ongoing problem, and police will continue to crack down. Reporting from Pullman, I'm Austin Warford.
News Central will continue to keep you up to date as this story progresses.
Campfires are a leading cause of wildfires in the Pacific Northwest. Campers sometimes abandon their fire, thinking that it's out or cool enough to go out on its own. A campfire in the cool conditions of the morning may seem harmless. However, as the day becomes warmer, the fire can rekindle, and the wind can carry sparks that ignite a wildfire. Make sure that your fire is dead out. The Pacific Northwest is a beautiful place to live and play. Please help keep it that way. This message is brought to you by the Pacific Northwest Wildfire Coordinating Group.
Welcome back. For the first time in history, WSU Pullman is eliminating tobacco use on campus.
This was one of the final initiatives of the university's late president, Elson S. Floyd.
Washington State University Regents approved a policy on October 30th, 2015 that will make the Pullman campus tobacco and nicotine-free. This will mark the third WSU campus to go nicotine-free since the Vancouver campus in 2013 and the Spokane campus in 2012. There are approximately 1,000 campuses nationwide that are tobacco and nicotine-free, and another 1,500 that are considered smoke-free. To prepare for the upcoming transition, the task force will be modeling their program after the University of Oregon's campus.
It's been a long, interesting process to get consensus, or opinions from the students and employees, and then to develop the policy and work with the Board of Regents and President Floyd and now President Bernardo to try to get this thing to get implemented by August. So we're excited. It'll improve the health of our students and employees. So that's what we're here for, is to help make that happen.
The new policy will go into effect in August 2016. The university will be removing all cigarette urns, placing posters to notify the students of the changes, as well as promoting secession. University officials say that while smoking on campus is prohibited, individuals may still smoke in private vehicles. For Murrow News, I'm Jordan Kowach.
Thanks, Jordan. Coming up after the break, we go to Lafayette Square in front of the White House.
I recently had the opportunity to travel to Washington, D.C., where I spoke with Concepcion, a woman running the longest peace protest in North America. However, some say her motives have changed over time. Take a look. On Pennsylvania Avenue, presidents come and go. But for over 35 years, Concepcion Picciotto, or Connie as some call her, has served as the primary caretaker of the White House Peace Vigil, the longest-running peace protest in North America. William Thomas founded the vigil in June of 1981. Connie arrived 2 months later and has since devoted her life to the protest.
Well, my principles and morals keeps me here. That's why.
Thomas died in 2009, leaving Connie the vigil and the obligation to keep it alive. Today, she relies on the help of stand-in volunteers to occupy the vigil, allowing her to sleep and use the restroom.
I'm here for absolute world peace.
Filipos Malaku is one volunteer, and he's seen plenty of changes throughout the decades.
Signs have shrunk from about maybe 15 feet tall to then they said 6 feet high.
But years ago, he saw a change he didn't like.
Malaku told me that after the death of William Thomas in 2009, the focus behind the vigil changed, and so did Connie.
She didn't put out those signs while he was alive. So there's a reason why she had to wait till he passed to flip the script.
Would William Thomas approve of this vigil now, especially when Connie's here?
He wasn't anti-Hebrews. He wasn't anti-Judaism.
Because this is not United States government. It's controlled by the Zionist state. And that is the Zionists who control not only the United States, but the whole world. The police, a nightmare. Yes, very corrupted. Because most of them or Zionistas?
Concepcion Picciotto, she is somebody that's been here, honestly, a long time, very long time. But I keep it to what William Thomas had as a protest that was an anti-nuclear peace protest. So for world peace, can't just be solving one human rights violation.
It started as a noble cause to end the tragedy of war, but sadly has devolved into a human tragedy, with Connie, the victim of her own private war.
For me, more and more attacks, more attacks. But I don't give up. They cannot get through me, Mom. You cut me in pieces. God is the greatest. God is the absolute.
In Washington, Kyle Simchuk, Murrow News 8.
Simchuk tells us that even after 35 years, no president has ever visited her protest.
And pretty fascinating that she's still there. We'll be back with something brewing in Pullman.
Is your child having difficulty with sports? Does she seem to be a few steps behind the soccer ball? Is he swinging early or late at the baseball? Is your child's sports performance inconsistent? An eye coordination problem could be at the root of your child's difficulties. Vision screenings can be misleading because they are not designed to test all of the visual skills necessary for sports performance or for reading and learning. Even if your child has passed vision screenings, if he or she is struggling with eye-hand coordination, doesn't like sports, or isn't performing up to his or her potential in school, it's time to schedule a developmental vision evaluation with an optometrist who provides an in-office program of vision therapy. Many professional athletes attribute their success to optometric vision therapy, and vision therapy can help your child too. For more information on sports and vision, call 888-COVD-770 or visit the website for the College of Optometrist and Vision Development.
When they started out, they kept their project under wraps, but now their popular product is overflowing. Our reporter Brooklyn tells their story.
It's bubbly, it's hoppy, and it's home-brewed. This Washington State University student brews beer from the comfort of his Pullman home.
We went to college for a year, came back, all decided we love beer, and we're too young to buy it, so we're like, well, why don't we make it?
That's just what Bryson King and his roommate Brian Dunlap did. It's more than just a hobby to these guys, though. It's a small brewing company called Lost Lodge. The brewing process can take up to 8 hours to complete. Then the beer is put into a jug for fermenting and later carbonating. The beer is ready to drink 3 to 4 weeks later.
It's a lot of reading online, reading in books. We're super nerdy about it. We talk to people, and people are just like, oh, yeah, I don't know, it's fun.
But home brewing doesn't come without its challenges.
Like area that we brew with, it's not necessarily the ideal space for brewing, but we make it work. We do what we can. We use like signs and stuff to make wind blocks, but it's a little home setup, so that's kind of what makes it special too.
The boys never intended to start a business in their kitchen, but they're excited about how it's taken off.
First we did the Lost Lodge thing just kind of for fun, and we have a beer Bible where we keep all of our brews, and we even wrote in there, the rules like we got to drink it all. Another one was, this is just for fun, but if it turns into a business, let's go for it.
What's next for these guys? A new and improved brewing system and a place to sell their beer. Reporting from Pullman, I'm Brooklyn Gradini.
Thank you for joining us here on News Central.
Good night and good luck.